Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, September 12, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are on the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren. And subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what that's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at this post that was made here on our Twitter page today. By the way, keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're made also on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and even on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we highlighted the fact that it was the anniversary of Hurricane Gilbert. In this post we stated, today in hurricane history, 36 years ago on September 12, 1988, Hurricane Gilbert made landfall in Jamaica as a major Category 3, bringing us extreme winds, torrential rainfall, causing 49 fatalities, and racking up 700 million US dollars in damages in Jamaica. Do you know of this hurricane? And we spliced up numerous clips showing Gilbert on its way to Jamaica, during Jamaica, and the aftermath as well. So if you'd like to check that out, just go over to our other social media platforms. It's quite the watch. And we definitely had some of our commenters, some of our followers who actually knew of this hurricane. We have Marcus Antonio stating, "I'll never forget Gilbert," here on our Twitter page. Watervole stating, "Was there year before and around 6 months after. Gilbert really tore up the countryside. With all the broken trees, didn't look the same at all. Stories told of a terrifying experience." Dale, the 1876 states, "It was a terrible time. West Rural St. Andrew didn't get back electricity until December. Roads were impassable. Widespread blackout, cold beer was super expensive. Couldn't buy fresh meat, so enough bully beef in your structure." And we also had Striker 555 stating, "It was a memorable experience indeed, one I can't forget." Molly stating, "If Gilbert was a Category 3, I don't ever want to experience a Cat 5. Ricardo James stating, "Wild Gilbert. The storm they said had turned back, but we know that was as a result of the eye passing from Moran Pine and exiting the island at Negril Point." And we also had Cheryl here stating, "A terrible experience. Don't want to go through that again." We also had some comments here on our Instagram page. Drew 4F stating, "Those who lived through it would never forget. We have never seen anything remotely like it since. Gilbert set the world record for the lowest pressure measured on Earth at the time. It was extremely intense." We also had cute_dimple stating, "I was born 2 months earlier. Mom said no light for 5 months. A lot of looting was happening." And the final comment here from a gratitudinal disposition stating, "That's why I don't listen nor look when people complaining, but they regret preparing for a storm. Gilbert was my first and it was a beast. Jamaica was devastated." And hopefully we don't have any more Gilberts in the future. If we take a look here at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, we can see that Francine has definitely moved inland into portions of the south central United States. It is now a post-tropical cyclone, still packing maximum sustained winds of 25 miles per hour, and it's moving to the north at 9 miles per hour. So it's definitely pushing more inland. We can see that they still have that area highlighted across the southeastern United States coast with a low chance of development, just a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. We can see that those 2 areas that we saw to the east of the Caribbean has now dwindled down back to 1. just with a 30% chance, and we can see that has definitely thinned out, while it's expected to push more towards the west, kind of more north than west. And according to the Hurricane Center regarding this system, scattered showers and thunderstorms continue in association with a small area of low pressure located a couple of 100 miles east of the Leeward Islands. The proximity of dry air near the system is expected to limit additional development over the next couple of days. Environmental conditions are expected to become even less conducive over the weekend, while the system moves slowly west-northwestward. Regardless of development, this system could produce locally heavy rainfall and gusty winds across the northern Leeward Islands on Friday. And we see that they've given it a 30% chance of cyclone formation both within the next 48 hours, that's the next 2 days, and the next 7 days. We're also still watching Tropical Depression 7. And if we take a look here at the map and the forecast track, you can see it's expected to continue pushing west-northwestward as the Hurricane Center has highlighted here. It's packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 60 miles per hour. It's expected to move more westward and then possibly dip and then continue west-northwestward right there as it heads out into the open Atlantic. If we take a look here at the supercomputer model forecast, we can see this map here from the Euro showing what's going to be happening regarding these systems. First of all, we have post-tropical cyclone Francine right here across the southern US, and we're going to be seeing what the other systems are going to be doing. First of all, before we even look at what these systems are going to be doing, let's just take a look at the visible satellite images to make out these entities. We can see the clouds associated with the swirlies. They're still there, even although they're not that intense. The Hurricane Center is still monitoring that other one that has a low chance. We'll see how that goes as it continues to move westward. Either way, regarding the supercomputer model forecasts, as we head out to the next 168 hours, we can see the moisture associated with the tropical waves into the eastern to the central Caribbean. And as we continue to go out in time, we don't see anything significant. Francine is definitely out of there as it pushes northward. The other system that the Hurricane Center has highlighted could possibly push inland into portion of the southeastern United States, maybe South Carolina, who knows. And by the end of the 168 hours, we can see that it is nothing drastic that's going to be taking place across the entire Atlantic. Quite a dead peak of the hurricane season, if you ask me, but that's a good thing. We don't need any more barrels or anything like that. We hope most seasons are like this, bringing more in. We have tropical waves with rainfall than actual tropical depression, storms, or hurricane at all. But that's just the Euro model though. What does the GFS model show? Because we know we have to look at what both maps are showing, what both supercomputer models are showing regarding these systems. So first of all, Francine is out of there. Still have that frontal system with that airflow pressure attached to it, heading into the southeastern United States. It's heading more into North Carolina than in South Carolina, like what the Euro was showing. But we see regarding the Caribbean and the Atlantic, we see maybe that's tropical depression number 7 right there coming into the display, but we didn't see that on the Euro at all. So we're going to be seeing exactly what unfolds as we head out to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. By the end of the next 7 days, that's by next Thursday, September 19, we'll know exactly what's going to be happening regarding tropical depression number 7. And I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. If we take a look here at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we still have that frontal system stalled out across the southwest Atlantic, heading into a portion of the southern United States. We can see a tropical wave right here to the east of Jamaica, and this tropical wave is definitely going to do a number on the island weather tomorrow. As a matter of fact, tonight into tomorrow, we can see that air of low pressure that the Hurricane Center has highlighted right there to the east of the Leeward Islands. We can see the air flow pressure associated with tropical depression number 7 right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Island. And if we take a look back at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with post-tropical cyclone Francine, bringing some overcast skies and rainfall to the area. Still some windy conditions too. The clouds associated with frontal system across the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, the Bahamas, and Florida. And we can also see the usual afternoon thunderstorm activity across portions of the Greater Antilles, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, portions of Jamaica, and Cuba. And the tropical wave that's to the east of us is definitely going to be bringing more rainfall to the island on Friday. And we can also see that portion of the Eastern Caribbean definitely getting in on some amount of isolated shower as we speak. Northern South America, Central America getting in on their usual afternoon thunderstorms too. If we take a look here at what was predicted in yesterday's video, let's see if we can find that forecast. Alright, here we go. If we take a look here at what was predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, as a matter of fact, let's load up this image first. Yes, here we go. So for today, it was predicted that we would have had some afternoon rainfall on Thursday across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And just for reference, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. So Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. So St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? As a matter of fact, we had some morning surprise rainfall, some early morning rainfall at that, across portions of some eastern parishes. Look at the isolated thunderstorm activity, the cumulonimbus clouds, the high cold cloud tops as represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, the blacks, not to mention the sparkling white dots. So we definitely had some isolated thunderstorm activity early this Thursday morning, as this post was made here on our Twitter page at around 5:15 a.m. We saw the sparkling white dots represent the isolated thunderstorms, especially across eastern Portland and eastern St. Thomas. Then, during the afternoon, another post was made at around 1:15 p.m., highlighting the visible satellite image. And we definitely saw the thunderstorm activity across portions of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. And look at these sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had the isolated thunderstorm activity across portions of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. I was in Kingston when we had some of this rainfall for sure during the afternoon. Definitely heavy as I was exiting the parish. Definitely causing some amount of flooding along Windward Road. And then as the afternoon progressed, another post was made here on our Twitter page at around 3:05 p.m. highlighting the infrared satellite image. And we saw the high cold cloud tops, highlighting the cumulonimbus clouds that we know are represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, the blacks, the grays, the whites, the purples. And we saw the tremendous thunderstorm activity that was taking place across portions of western Jamaica, Hanover, Westmoreland, especially St. Elizabeth gotten on the brunt of that. Some of this also affected section of Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew, as well as section of St. Thomas and Portland too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely see what took place. We had more of a kind of east-southeasterly flow in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and in the upper levels of the atmosphere we had the wind shear pushing those high cold cloud tops off towards the southwest, just as predicted in yesterday's video. And we definitely saw how those clouds built up during the afternoon. We definitely had the thunderstorms, especially across section of some central and western parishes, as well as some southern parishes too. And we can see it all even better on the infrared satellite images right there. We saw the high cold cloud tops for sure being blown off towards the southwest, and we're going to still be in for more of that even on Friday. And we definitely have some confirmation here from one of our followers on our Twitter page. We had right here Chirpy stating, here in Meadowbrook it is dark but no rain. We suspect that it is falling heavily elsewhere. We also had Mingle Bingley stating, rain been tearing up my side of Mobe since after 1. So that indeed confirms the rainfall in those areas. Let's see if we even got any more confirmation about the rainfall in any other spots on our other social media platform, on our Instagram. All right, here we go. It's .me.doug is stating raining currently in Portmore. Finally rain, a fall at Portmore. The place did hot bad this morning, but thank God for the showers. Sexy Anna stating rain in Kingston. We also have here it's underscore super underscore star underscore des stating downtown Kingston get some good rains. Realm underscore JA stating Portmore fully active. So I'm sure that most persons in and around Kingston, St. Catherine are indeed grateful for today's rainfall, especially to cool down the temperatures. And we definitely have the confirmation about the rainfall here from the live stream from See Jamaica's YouTube channel. This is showing Crossroads in St. Andrew at around 3:14 p.m. By the way, keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. They have live streams of Halfway Tree as well, the panoramic view, Kingston Harbor, the Bogwa Gorge, you name it. And they're planning on increasing the camera coverage across the island too. So subscribe from now so that you can see more live streams of the island. So we can see the heavy rainfall lashing Crossroads as we look northward. Definitely blinding rainfall for sure. Vehicles with their windshield wipers on. Persons trying to get about their business with the umbrella on. And even if we take a look at another view, this is at around 3:24 p.m. showing the panoramic city view looking towards the southwest, highlighting the heavy rainfall that was affecting portions of Kingston for sure. It was more so Kingston than in northern St. Andrew. We definitely had that rainfall down there. Look at the blinding rainfall as we continue to look towards the southwest. The further down we go, the heavier the rain gets. So we definitely had some rainfall across portion of the corporate area today. And the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website confirms this perfectly. If we take a look at the latest infrared satellite image of Jamaica that just came out, let's see if we can find the latest image, at around 7:25 p.m. considering that the time is now 7:36 p.m. You can see the majority of these clouds have cleared out. We still have some milky white shades across portion of the island, as well as some clouds spilling in from some isolated shores, if not over Cuba, across the waters to the south of Cuba right there, being pushed out towards the southwest by that upper level wind shear. But for the most part, not much taking place across the island. But let's see on the Doppler radar images if that's true. Let's see if some of these milky white shades or some of these blues have some amount of rainfall within them. So if we reload these latest images from the Cuban Doppler radar site, this is showing exactly what's taking place. So the latest image right here seems to be as of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time. So this one just came out 7 minutes ago. And we can definitely see that we have some isolated shores right there off to the southwest of the island, as represented by the greens, and the yellows within those greens represent some light to moderate to slight heavy rainfall. We can also see some isolated shores right there out to the east of the island, right there to the east of St. Thomas and Portland. And if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military radar, we can also see that rainfall, just as predicted, affecting portions of southeastern Cuba, as well as having the high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the southwest. But most of the light rain associated with those high cold cloud tops being sheared off is affecting the waters to the south of Cuba, not necessarily across Jamaica at all, where we saw the cloud tops reaching as far to the north of the island right there. On the Cayman radar, we don't see much taking place, just the isolated shores that we mentioned seeing to the west of the island of Jamaica. And if we take a look at the latest panoramic view, this is the live stream as of 7:38 p.m. matching the time. Definitely gonna be a fair night. we can see that we have some vehicles and people going about their business for sure. Definitely see all the lights in and around Kingston, New Kingston as well. Even looking, we can see a halfway tree transport center right there. So it's definitely going to be a fair night for the most part across the corporate area. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look here at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows and some slight orange colors that represent for the most part up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica are close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. 90 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 32.2 degrees Celsius when calculated. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Friday. If we take a look here at the tips to beat the heat, we know the drill. Try to be indoors, stay cool on the fan, AC, take some cool showers, rest more often, eat more fresh fruit, apples, grapes, you name it, and try to stay as hydrated as possible, as well as stay away from all of the alcohol and caffeine as well. If we take a look here at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, we can see that majority of the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, Northern South America still to be in the clear, as all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should still be across the waters of the northern main development region, as we see by the brown colors. And we can also see the swirl right here associated with Tropical Depression 7, soon to be Tropical Storm Gordon, right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. So it's definitely going to be winding up and twisting around the Saharan dust, maybe possibly ingesting some of that dry air as well. If we take a look here at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can still see that majority of the Gulf of Mexico into the Caribbean should be getting in on those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues that we can see by the key on the bottom right that represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1 to 1.5 meter wave height. And we can see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this wave forecast. And that's due to the fact that we're going to be getting in on those dull greens with a mixture of blues all the way up to some slightly brighter shades of greens that we can see by the key on the bottom right that represents anywhere from 5 to 10 all the way up to 15 knot winds. And we can see that the winds should be coming in from the southeast across the eastern Caribbean, curving westward across the central to the western Caribbean as well. But as it relates to the close-up of Jamaica, regarding these winds, we can see the winds, according to both the Euro and the GFS models, should be coming in for the most part from the east, maybe curving northward on the south coast right there. We can see it moving inland on the north coast, coming in more so from the east. And we can also see that the air is going to be piling up wherever we have the blues. That's where we're going to be having those low-level clouds building during the afternoon. Then we'll have that daytime heating, that diurnal convection for sure. And with the upper-level winds still stuck coming in from the northeast, just like what we saw today when we had the thunderstorms and we had those high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the south and west. We're still in for some more of that tomorrow. We might still get some overcast skies, if not some light rainfall, if not some thunderstorms across portions of southern Jamaica as well. And if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast maps now, look at this. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are showing rainfall where for portions of the island, especially eastern Jamaica, where we see the colors coming on shore. GFS not as robust, with the blues across portions of maybe St. Thomas, Portland. Euro more robust with the dark blues, the greens, the yellows. And keep in mind that this is valid for 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 1 a.m. Jamaica time on Friday. So late tonight into early tomorrow morning. And then as we head into the afternoon on Friday, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can see that both of them are definitely in consensus that the brunt of the afternoon rainfall should be across portions of western Portland, southern St. Mary, northern St. Andrew. Look at the euro right there with the greens and yellows. GFS showing more of the greens across northwest St. Andrew, portions of northern or northeastern St. Catherine, southern St. Mary, southeastern St. Anne. Either way, we see that there's rainfall for western Portland, northwestern St. Elizabeth, sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland. So look out for that afternoon rainfall. So the forecast is as follows. Early morning rainfall or late night rainfall for Thursday into the early morning hours of Friday for portions of especially eastern Jamaica. Who knows, it could be even more widespread than eastern Jamaica, maybe coastal areas of some southern parishes, if not some northern parishes. Then during the afternoon, let's say rainfall still in the forecast for portions of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. Even although eastern St. Thomas and eastern Portland seem to be void on the GFS, not so much on the Euro. Definitely getting it on the Euro, but GFS not so much. Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that we're going to be getting some amount of rainfall tomorrow. And we see a lot of these deep reds across the island, especially in and around Kingston, all the way up to 1.67 of an inch of rainfall on the Euro GFS, showing up to at least 0.86 of an inch of rainfall around Kingston. But we see even more rainfall totals right there to the northwest of there, maybe all the way up to 0.95 of an inch of rainfall. Either way, it's close to an inch, and we know how these things go. There could be some isolated flash flooding taking place, especially considering that there is a tropical wave to the east of us. We know how these tropical waves can get, so please ensure that you stay alert. These tropical waves can definitely do some amount of damage, and 'tis the season for the intense thunderstorms for sure. If there's any month for us to hear a lot of thunder associated with the lightning in these afternoon thunderstorms, it's going to be in September, especially during the afternoon. And if there's ever a month for us to receive a lot of freak storms, it is September, especially across portions of St. Elizabeth. It could be other parishes as well, but St. Elizabeth is more susceptible to all of the freak storms. Either way, if we're going to be getting rainfall, we're indeed grateful. Most of us want the rainfall so that we can have water in our pipes, as well as to keep down the temperatures. We can see that it is right on schedule. We're in the peak of our rainy season. It is our primary rainy season period. In Kingston, whose bar graph is right here at the top, we usually receive close to 100 millimeters of rainfall for the month. That's almost 4 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is right here at the bottom, during September, we usually receive close to 7 inches of rainfall. That's almost 175 millimeters of rainfall. And keep in mind that you can visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about the rainfall in your specific parish. And you can also use this map right here that does the conversion from inches to millimeter. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters, so you can do the math regarding the rainfall on the rain gauge. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we do have a lot of moisture still coming in to portions of the eastern Caribbean right there. The usual afternoon thunderstorms across portions of Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, portions of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of Central America getting in on some of the action as well. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean right now, we can definitely see that there's not much taking place. Just some isolated showers, hit or miss in and around the area. Some rainfall off to the east of Guadeloupe associated with that system that the Hurricane Center is watching. Rainfall in and around portion of Martinique, in and around section of Antigua and Barbuda. The US Virgin Islands definitely getting in on some isolated shower activity as we speak, especially to the north of there. And if we take a look at the radar images from earlier today, Puerto Rico definitely got in on some afternoon thunderstorms across portion of the northwestern portion of the island, with some isolated showers coming in from the east and moving more so towards the west-northwest across portion of the island. But if we take a look here at the Barbados radar, we don't see much taking place across Barbados right now. But we do see some isolated showers coming in from the southeast, so they could get some rainfall later on tonight if it doesn't die out. You can also see some rainfall right there to the north and to the south of Barbados, some of which is affecting portion of Martinique right now, maybe to affect section of St. Lucia too. You can also see some of that rainfall affecting portion of Grenada and the Grenadine Islands as well. If we look closely, even portion of Trinidad and Tobago is getting on some isolated shores as we speak. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall, that portion of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, section of the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, sections of Belize, Honduras, got in on today, and they're still getting on some isolated shores, even across portion of northeastern Venezuela and sections of Colombia too. And if we take a look here at the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 24 hours, keep in mind that both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3 on Saturday. And calculated, that's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. And we can see the light shades of greens to dark shades of greens are represent all the way up to 0.1 of an inch of rainfall, all the way up to 0.25 of an inch of rainfall. And the yellows and the reds are represent what? Anywhere from 0.3 all the way up to close up to an inch of rainfall. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that there's going to be some amount of rainfall in store within the next 24 hours for portions of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, sections of Jamaica, the Euro incorporating portions of the Cayman Islands, but not much on the GFS at all. We see that there's rainfall definitely in store for portions of the Cayman Islands, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, section of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, section of St. Martin, St. Kitts, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, sections of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados. And even if we scroll down across northern South America, we can see that there's definitely some amount of rainfall in store for portions of Suriname, Guyana, not so much for French Guyana, even although the Euro is showing some for French Guyana, GFS not that impressed. Sections of Venezuela, even sections of the ABC Islands could get on some isolated shores. We see that on the GFS, but the Euro is not that impressed. We'll see how that goes. Sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, sections of maybe Western Nicaragua getting on the brunt of tomorrow's rainfall. Section of El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras too, and even sections of southwestern Belize. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.